What does life really look like when you become king of a nation, not just any nation, but one of the most powerful monarchies in the world, surrounded by billions in assets, historic palaces, and a legacy that stretches back over 1,000 years? Today we're stepping inside the extraordinary lifestyle of King Charles III, a man who waited decades for the throne, only to inherit one of the most valuable royal systems on earth. But here's the real question: is King Charles III truly living a trillionaire lifestyle, or is his wealth something far more complex, hidden behind tradition, history, and royal structure? Because once you understand how the monarchy actually works, you'll realize this isn't just about money. It's about power, land, influence, and a lifestyle that very few people on earth can even begin to imagine. King Charles III was born in 1948 at Buckingham Palace, instantly becoming heir to one of the most powerful royal institutions in the world. As the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Charles didn't just inherit wealth, he inherited expectation. From childhood, his life was carefully structured around one destiny: becoming king. He grew up between iconic royal residences like Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, and the breathtaking Scottish estate of Balmoral Castle. These weren't just homes, they were historic symbols of power, filled with priceless artwork, royal collections, and centuries of tradition. But unlike many royals before him, Charles experienced a more structured and modern education. He attended schools before going on to study at the prestigious University of Cambridge, becoming the first British heir to earn a university degree. Yet even with this modern upbringing, his life was never truly his own. Every move he made, every decision, was shaped by the expectations of the monarchy. And that's where things start to get interesting. Because while Charles didn't immediately become king, he spent decades building his own version of royal wealth and influence. As Prince of Wales, he controlled the powerful Duchy of Cornwall, a massive estate established in 1337 that generates income from land, agriculture, real estate, and commercial developments. This wasn't just symbolic land. The Duchy of Cornwall includes thousands of acres across England, luxury properties, farmland, and even entire communities. It generates tens of millions of dollars annually, making Charles one of the wealthiest heirs in the world long before he became king. And this is where the idea of a trillionaire lifestyle begins to make sense. Because Charles's wealth isn't stored in a bank account, it's embedded in land, history, and assets that have been growing for centuries. But that's only the beginning. When Charles became king in 2022 following the death of Queen Elizabeth II, he didn't just inherit a title. He inherited control over an entire system of royal assets known as the Crown Estate. The Crown Estate includes some of the most valuable real estate in the United Kingdom, prime land in central London, luxury properties, shopping districts, and offshore assets. While the revenue from the Crown Estate goes to the government, the scale of its value is enormous, worth billions and continuing to grow. And then there are the royal residences. As king, Charles has access to properties like Buckingham Palace, which contains over 700 rooms, including state halls, private apartments, and offices. There's also Windsor Castle, the oldest and largest occupied castle in the world. And let's not forget Sandringham House, a private estate known for its vast grounds and royal traditions. Each of these properties represents not just luxury, but history, influence, and global recognition. But here's something most people don't realize. Despite living in unimaginable luxury, King Charles III has always had a very personal and somewhat unique approach to wealth. For decades, he has been deeply involved in environmental causes, sustainable farming, and architecture. He even transformed his private estate, Highgrove House, into a model of organic farming and eco-conscious living. This is where his lifestyle becomes different from what people expect. Instead of focusing only on luxury, Charles has spent years promoting sustainability, organic agriculture, and environmental awareness, long before these ideas became mainstream. But of course, the luxury is still very real. Royal travel, for example, operates on an entirely different level. As king, Charles travels with security teams, official vehicles, and occasionally private flights arranged for state visits. These trips involve high-level diplomatic meetings, luxury accommodations, and global attention wherever he goes. Then there are the royal events. State banquets, official ceremonies, and diplomatic receptions bring together world leaders, billionaires, and influential figures under one roof. Imagine dining in halls decorated with gold, chandeliers, and centuries-old artwork, while discussing global politics and international relations. That's a normal evening in the life of King Charles III. But his journey hasn't always been smooth. For decades, Charles lived in the shadow of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history. During that time, he faced public scrutiny, media attention, and personal challenges, including his highly publicized marriage to Princess Diana and later his relationship with Queen Camilla. Yet despite the challenges, Charles remained committed to his royal duties. And when he finally became king, he stepped into a role that carries not just privilege, but enormous responsibility. Today, his life is a balance between tradition and modernization. He represents centuries of monarchy while also adapting to a world that is rapidly changing. And that brings us back to the original question. Is King Charles III living a trillionaire lifestyle? In terms of personal cash, no, but in terms of access to land, influence, historic wealth, and global power, his lifestyle goes far beyond what most billionaires experience. Because his wealth isn't just measured in money. It's measured in legacy, in control of vast estates, in influence that spans across nations, and in a lifestyle built over generations, one that continues to evolve even today. But perhaps the most fascinating part of his story is what comes next. How will King Charles III reshape the monarchy? Will he modernize it further, or preserve its traditions exactly as they are? And how will his legacy compare to those who came before him? Those are the questions the world continues to watch. If you enjoy exploring the hidden lifestyles of royalty, billionaires, and the world's most powerful figures, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the next story might reveal another unbelievable life of wealth, power, and influence that you've never seen before.